Tea time with Trav. BTK killer. Bind them, torture them, kill them. That was his motto. He's a family man, y'all. He worked for the government and he went to church regularly. What's going on, y'all? It's Ayootravv and I'm back, back. I'm back again. I got Publix subs, y'all. I ain't had these in a minute. Y'all know, like, if y'all got a Publix, they subs is where it's at. Now, they didn't have the lemonade, so I am a little upset about that, but, you know, the subs gonna have to do what they do. Father God, I come in today to ask you watch over this food. Please, there be nourishment to my body. Please, have not just this food properly. You know my prayer. Amen. And one more time. Amen. All right, y'all. So I got fried chicken sub. This got fried chicken tenders, tomatoes, lettuce, jalapeno peppers, and pickles. This is something. I don't know. It got like ham and turkey, bell peppers. No, not bell peppers. Banana peppers, cucumber. I don't really know. I was going to try to point out everything, but I don't know. I'm going to give y'all a close-up of both of them. Did he zoom in? Okay, there we go. But I'm going to bite this one first, because I don't know. Oh my God, it's good. It's good. I'm pulling up our serial killer for the day. Good man. We're gonna jump right into it. I should have got some more like honey mustard or something on this because it's good, but it is a little dry. I'm trying to think of what I got in my kitchen. Oh no. Let's try this one. This one look good. No, this one good. Yo, a lot of y'all ate me up over that Kanye video. And I could care less. My opinion not gonna change. I said what I said. I didn't mean no harm by it, but some people definitely didn't like what I had said about Kanye. His fans was in my DMs, and I was just like, "Oh, child, y'all gonna beat me up?" I ain't worried about that. I got threatening messages in my Instagram DMs because I dissed Kanye West. I promise you I'm not scared. Just want to throw that out there. I seen y'all DMs. I'm not shook. Tea time with Trav. Y'all, today we're talking about the BTK killer. Bind them, torture them, kill them. That was his motto. So let me put my phone in airplane mode so to stop vibrating. Let me do that. All right, so the BTK killer is Dennis Rader. He killed 10 people. What he would do is he would break into a woman's house while she's gone. When she get into the house after dark, they were mainly either single women or women he knew that they were alone. Like, he would study their everyday routine. He would literally bind them up and he would torture them and ultimately killing them. But let's find out who did. Well, I'm gonna talk. Let's find out who Dennis Rader is. Because you would look at him. Well, I mean, I see crazy. I can't lie. I definitely see crazy. But it may just be because I've been studying his killing since I was a kid. But ultimately, he was a family man, y'all. He worked for the government and he went to church regularly. Those be the ones you gotta watch out for. The ones like you could look at somebody, you know, they accuse people of baggy jeans, tattoos, this, that, piercings. They say, oh my God, they look so crazy. No. It be these men that be up in the church. It be these police officers, these married men that live secret lives. How was this man killing all these people and nobody knew? He was killing them and then repent for his sins at church on Sunday. So what he would do is, now when he finally admitted to his crimes, he said he did them because they fulfilled his sexual desires. That's weird. Let's see. We're going to start on January 15, 1974. He killed 4 members of a family. At the time of this murder, he was 28. Working for the Air Force. This man was an Air Force veteran. Somebody who was supposed to be protecting and serving the country. And he out here tearing it apart. Make that make sense. I think they need to start doing, because like they so easily accept anybody into the Army, the Navy, all of that. Do they do like psych tests, psych eval? Like, do they do that? And do they also do it after the people are done with their mission? Because I've heard many stories of people leaving the Navy, the Army, etc., and they just going nuts. It's kind of like Kanye, but you know, he wasn't in the Army. So this one, he severed their phone line and went into the home. Jesus Christ. He killed 2 children and the parents. Oh. Their other siblings weren't there, like during the killing, but when they got home from school later that day, they found their bodies. April 4th, just 2.5 months later, Catherine Bright was his next victim. She returned home with her brother, and she found him there waiting with a gun. Now, miraculously, her brother survived the gunshot after being shot in his damn head. But his sister, out of there. He stabbed her to death. So now another thing BTK is famous for is taunting the police. In October of that same year, he introduced himself to the cops. So apparently, there was a young boy who took claim of the Otero murders. That was the 2 kids and the 2 parents. He confessed to doing that, and BTK is like, hold up. Ain't nobody about to take claim for what I did. He wanted notoriety for his murder without saying that he was the murderer. So the local paper received a phone call. And they directed them to the library. Inside the library, they were ordered to get this book. Inside the book was a letter. The letter reads, and I quote, "Those 3 dudes you have in custody are just talking to get publicity. The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them. BTK, you see he at it again. They will be on the next victim." He's telling them the words, well, the letters, BTK will be placed on the next victim, so you know I did this. He want to make his mark. He want to stamp his murders. But it don't stop there. So he then includes the details that only the police know about their family murder, so they can know this is the person that did it. He don't want no confusion. They said the letter was filled with what authorities come to recognize as the killer's peculiar brand of misspellings and grammatical errors, along with a sexually suggestive signature. That part still confuses me when I read it. What is a sexually suggestive signature? It would be strange though. So he goes a little ghost, but he pops back up March 17th, 1977, 3 years later. He murders a mom of 3. Okay, so this one, Jesus Christ, I had forgot about this one. So the mom's child opened the door for him. A 5-year-old opened the door for him. And that's how he got into the house. He gets into the house. He kind of like locks up the boy and his 2 siblings in the bathroom. And then killed the mom. So they say the kids were able to escape out of the bathroom. And of course they give a description of the murderer, but it wasn't enough. And mind you, we're talking back 1977, when technology isn't nowhere near what it is now for them to be able to even composite a real sketch of this killer based off of what these kids are saying. So now December 8th, 1977, BTK reports to Fox Station about his next victim. He called the police station. He told them, "You're going to find a homicide." He gives them the address. And he hangs up. Now, I'm not going to lie. As crazy as all of this is, it does tell an interesting story. Like, the fact that he was able to get away with all this for so long and still be seen as this good Samaritan, this good family man, this church-going man. Like, when you actually watch, like, documentaries and stuff, it's really something interesting to see. But, of course, it's a horrible thing that he did. So now, January 31st, 1978, a month later, he contacts the local news station with a poem. The poem goes, surely locks, would thou be mine." Now, they don't know about his previous murder. So they brush it off. February 10th, 1978. They say that he made a threat after he sent them his next letter. So what he wanted was, he really wanted popularity from his murders. He wanted them to be afraid of him. And when they weren't giving him the attention that he seeked out for, he started to get more and more upset, making him attack more people and also send more threatening letters and messages to the news station as well as the police. So now with this one, he sent a more direct letter. This letter says, how many people do I have to kill before I get my name in the paper or some national attention? What? Like, all of this is weird. So then he said, he started to give them nicknames that he wanted to be called. He wanted to be called the BTK Strangler, the Wichita Hangman, the Asphyxiator. Like, a lot of this story is just confusing to me because they were saying that, well, he said that he was doing all this because it helped his sexual desire, but then it seems as though he wants popularity from it. Like, what type of attention seeking is he doing? Because I'm really confused. You have to murder people to get attention when you are a government official? You are one of the main people at the church. You are a family man. What more attention do you need, and why does it have to come at the expense of somebody losing their life? That's kind of weird. So now, after he says this, they then release this information to the public. Because that letter comes across as, if you don't give me the attention I'm looking for, I'm going to do more and more and more and more and more. So they go ahead and they release the information and they let them know, and I quote, "We have no reason but to believe the individual has the capability to kill again." And they were right. April 28th, 1979, another target barely got away. Anna Williams. She was 63 years old. They say that she was taking too long to return home. Less than 2 months later, Williams learns of her brush of death. She didn't know who the BTK killer was. She had no idea. So as she looked back and starts reflecting, she's like, oh my God, I was almost his next victim. So she received different letters and personal items that belonged to her. Somebody was mailing them to her house. And a letter says, oh Anna, why didn't you appear? I ate all the meat out that one. So now here we are, August 14, 1979. Now they go ahead and release, they're starting to release more information because he's having more victims. So they released his phone call. So the phone call that he made in 1977, they go ahead and release this one to Nancy Fox to see if anybody can recognize his voice, because at this point, he's trolling. He was trolling before we knew what trolling was. He was trolling before trolls were trolling. So they released info to see if anybody can recognize his voice. Unfortunately, nobody can. Which to me makes this more crazy. I'm still trying to figure out how nobody in his family suspected anything weird. My mother is nosy as hell. She know anything I do, and if she don't, she gonna find out. So how is it that nobody in his family knew that this man was killing all these people? This man was contacting the police, admitting to killing all these people. Nobody knew. It just seems really weird to me. I don't know. So now, April 27th, 1985, his neighbor, 53-year-old Maureen Hedge, is kidnapped from her home. So she's found dead by strangulation 8 days later. And at the time, the police, don't ask me how, did not connect her murder with the rest of the murders of the BTK killer. September 16th, 1986. Somebody else decided they want to take blame and confess to being a BTK killer. Okay, so with this one, a lady and her son was found dead in the bedroom. And they accused the husband. They accused the husband for it. And this just goes to show that a lot of times, police just be doing whatever to solve their case. Even if that means place the blame on somebody else. As long as they can say that their case is solved, they're happy. Because how the hell... I don't get it. Now, his final murder was January 19th, 1991. Dolores Davis. He goes to her house. He throws a cinder block through a glass door, which is how he entered the premises. Now, with her, he strangled her to death, and he left her body by a bridge. That's crazy. That's crazy. So he doesn't kill anymore. 1991. He started these murders in the 70s. This is over a 10-year time frame, and this man has not been caught. So in January 2004, they run a 30th anniversary special on the BTK killer. March 19, 2004. Here we are in a whole other generation at this point. He announces his return. He sends a letter to the Wichita Eagle, which is the news station. And this has a driver's license of one of his victims. He also sent pictures of her body, y'all. Pictures of her body and her driver's license that the police had yet to discover her driver's license. He also put a message in there that links her unsolved murder to BTK. That's the one that they couldn't connect to him being a killer of. Now, May 5th, 2004, because he's bored, he's trolling. He sent them a puzzle. He sent to the TV station a phony ID and chapter titles for BTK biography. And they had to find the word with these missing letters. And he gave them clues like prowl and fantasies. Child, this man. And the police is so stupid, and I have to use that word, because they later found out after the fact that one of the words they had to spell out was Raider, which was this man's last name. The police, they should be so slow. They be so slow sometimes. Like, what it would take to get in the police academy? Because how did they not, child? But knowing them in the community they were in, they probably trying to cover it up, to be honest. Until they couldn't cover it up no more. Now, December 13, 2005, he left a package. And it was in different public locations. One of them was a garbage bag, and it had different driver's licenses of people that he killed. Let me see. January 25th, 2005. He sends them a postcard with more clues. At this point, he wants to be found. It's like, I feel like his guilty conscience was eating him up and he wants to admit it, but he want to make them work for it. He don't want to just come out and say, hey, this is me, I did this. He want to make them work for it. So they find a cereal box on the road. And this one has a description of his first murders. Okay. So they tried to put this one, y'all. I actually remember this from a documentary. They tried to put this one on a Home Depot employee because they tracked it back to his pickup truck. He found the cereal box in his pickup truck at work, and he just throws it out, throws it on the side of the road as he's going. So I tell them to run a newspaper ad, and the message is, Rex, it will be okay. January 28, 2005, they kind of signal him through the newspaper. Yo, this is getting weirder and weirder, and I've seen like a million documentaries on this. So now, February 16, 2005, a computer disk opened the case for them. It gives them their first big lead. So they checked the index card for more information, and it had a hidden message on there. So now this disc tells them that it has been used by dentists at the local church in the city library. So now they said after doing their research, they realized that Dennis' real name is Dennis Rader. He's the president of the church. And that's how it leads back to him. This man did his first killing in 1974. They don't discover who this man is until 2005. Because he wanted them to. Had he not sent any more messages in the early 2000s, they probably would have never caught on to who he was. That just goes to show how incompetent some of these law enforcement departments, whatever the word is. And I genuinely feel like somebody knew more than what they tell them. Because there's no way that man went under radar for 30 years. No way. No way. Nobody was covering up anything for him. I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Not trying to hear it. Won't believe it. None of that. He was an Army veteran. President at the church. Meaning he had power. He had power. He had connections. He had this. He had that. Somebody was covering up for him. Somebody did something. Somebody assisted him some way, somehow. I don't know if somebody assisted with writing the letters, dropping them off. I don't know if somebody assisted with doing the murders. I don't know if somebody assisted with bribing the police not to say that. I don't know, but I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. There's no way. Because when Ray Ray killed Pookie, after breaking into his house, they found Ray Ray within 24 hours. But they couldn't find this nigga. Well, I probably wasn't supposed to say the word. They couldn't find this man. Come on. Come on. All right, y'all. I'm not calling out. So you already know what to do. Check the description box below for the website, www.ayootravv.com. They get the Ayo sauce, the Ayo merch, Ayo drip, all that. Oh, Ayo sauce is on sale right now. Boom. I meant to say that. Not for y'all. This will be tomorrow. If you're not subscribed to the channel, the bell right there, boom. Hit the bell right there, boom. So you're notified each and every time I drop a new video. If you want to stay connected with Ayootravv, jump back into the description box, go down to the bottom. Brr, boom. Right down on there, you're going to see me on social media. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, BIGO. Add me, follow me, leave me a comment on Instagram, leave me a DM on Instagram, leave me a comment here, do whatever. Let me know what's like, but you don't like what you want to see, but you don't want to see, but you want me to see, but you don't want me, but you want me, but you don't want me, I was just love. Other than that, it's been real. Ayootravv is out.